Erica Mena believed that this pregnancy would be a new beginning, a chapter full of healing, hope, and happiness. However, alarming reports are circulating online that suggest there may be a serious problem with her unborn child. According to people familiar with the matter, Erica was recently taken to the hospital after going through what, although Erica hasn't verified anything yet, the quiet is simply escalating further speculation over whether her kid is indeed in danger. Insiders are reporting a medical emergency, which has physicians quite concerned. What specifically did the doctors find? Fans are stunned, and social media is ablaze with rumors, anxieties, and prayers. Insiders are revealing details about a potential pregnancy issue that could completely alter the reality star's life. Some claim it's stress-related, while others think it's something far more severe. The truth is that Erica and her close friends and family are obviously doing everything in their power to keep things under wraps, but the cracks are beginning to show. Could this issue endanger mother and child? Or is the truth being kept secret to preserve someone's reputation? The emotional storm that is developing behind the scenes is simply it all started with a mysterious post late at night on a fan page closely related to Erica. The page posted a fuzzy picture of what looked to be Erica entering a hospital with a comment, "Prayers up." And what we're about to learn could shatter your heart. For Erica, inside minutes, followers flooded the comments, seeking answers. Some believed it was clickbait, but others felt a sinking sense that something was wrong. Sources suggest she's not well. Extremely incorrect, and it wasn't even an hour later that the picture was verified as authentic. Erica had, in fact, been taken to the hospital, and speculations that it was related to her pregnancy soon started to circulate. The official account's silence made for 2 days her Instagram story, which used to be full of outfit checks and behind-the-scenes glimpses into her life, was absolutely blank. This made everything much more dramatic because people were used to her sharing daily selfies, quotations, and videos of her kids. An unsubstantiated but well-known celebrity rumor portal then presented a shocking revelation, claiming to have inside sources that physicians had discovered a rare pregnancy issue, uniting many who had previously attacked her for drama or previous relationships. Within hours, the hashtags #PrayerForica and #EricAbbeyHealth were trending, and fans started expressing their own experiences of pregnancy issues in the hopes that she would pull through, even though they didn't go into detail. They used terms like emergency monitoring risk to the baby's health and major mental anguish. Theories about whatever it was she was dealing with were all over the place. Some people thought it was stress-related, based on her recent emotional interviews and social media feeds. Others blamed Safari, Erica's ex, saying that his lack of support and absence may have contributed. Many people also brought up how during her previous pregnancy, Erica had broken down in public because she felt abandoned. One fan wrote on Twitter, "She's been through enough. If this man pushed her to the edge again, we won't forgive him." Then came the startling information that devastated the internet. A nurse allegedly employed at the hospital where Erica was admitted sent an anonymous message to a gossip account claiming that doctors had brought up placental insufficiency, a condition that can restrict the baby's supply of oxygen and nutrients. Although this wasn't officially verified, the mention of a medical condition, people began searching for the ailment online, uploading medical papers, and voicing their anxieties when the issue sent shockwaves through Erica's spam base. Comments ranged from, "This can be so dangerous if not caught early," to, "I went through this, it almost cost me my baby," as the rumor mill spun faster attention. Turned to Safari, who said nothing at all. He hadn't shared anything, not even a vague prayer emoji, and numerous fans found that intolerable. Comments began to pour in on his earlier post, requesting a response. One user wrote, Your baby mama is in the hospital, and you're just out here posting filthy gym pictures. And people weren't as courteous. They were criticizing him for his previous actions and accusing him of being the cause of her worry. However, several astute fans pointed out that Safri had been seen at an event the same evening that Erica was supposedly admitted he was captured laughing with friends wearing casual clothing and appearing carefree. As soon as that photo appeared on blogs, people were incensed. It wasn't just neglect, it was total emotion. They might be losing their child, and he's out there pretending it's just another Saturday. This is incredibly callous in the interim. According to insiders close to Erica's team, she has been under a great deal of stress lately due to legal issues with her ex-boyfriends, trying to shield her kids from the media, and rebuilding her brand after several scandals. She has hardly been able to sleep or eat, and another source suggested that Erica has received some concerning test results a few days prior to the hospital visit and had planned an emergency examination, which, when doctors saw indications of fetal distress, resulted in a full-fledged admission. One person even said that Erica passed out soon after getting to the hospital, and the story quickly went viral. Fans were desperate for genuine answers as they conjectured about what might have caused her to collapse. Was it physical exhaustion, emotional trauma, or something more serious related to the pregnancy? A few online journalists attempted contacting her team, but all they received was a succinct statement stating that Erica is currently, we requested seclusion at this period under medical care. But the internet didn't want privacy at all. The more silence she made, the louder the cacophony became. And then just suddenly, another anonymous tip was received, this time by someone claiming to be a friend of a nurse who works on the same floor. The message was brief but terrifying, and she has been crying nonstop. They are also keeping an eye on the infant every hour. This additional detail is critical. Increase the emotional tension even further. Fans all around the world began recording Erica's cries as she clutched her tummy and prayed for her unborn child. Erica had previously been fearless, fierce, and seemingly untouchable. Others lighted candles, held virtual prayer circles, and even tagged celebrities who were friends of Erica, urging them to speak out and provide strength. One of the most tragic moments occurred when an elderly person posted video messages of support under the trending hashtags. In a video that went viral again, this time with a completely different title, Erica resurfaced said, "I would do anything for my kids, anything. I may make mistakes, but they're my everything." The paparazzi finally managed to get a glimpse of someone being wheeled into a hospital room under strict security. But the face wasn't visible, leading fans to believe it was Erica. They weren't just watching the celebrity anymore. They were seeing a mother who was terrified and vulnerable, possibly facing every parent's worst nightmare. One witness claimed to have heard someone sobbing quietly as the wheelchair passed, with their face concealed by a hoodie and surrounded by nurses. That small detail was enough to cause another round of heartbreak on the internet, shortly after a close friend of Erica shared a mysterious message on her Instagram story. "God, please protect my." She didn't specifically name Erica, but fans quickly connected with her and sent her supportive messages. Shortly after, the friend removed the story, perhaps out of concern that she had disclosed too much, but the harm was already done. "Sister, she doesn't deserve this suffering." It was obvious that whatever was happening in that hospital room was extremely graphic and horrifying. And as viewers were trying to gather their thoughts, a new rumor surfaced suggesting that Erica had momentarily lost consciousness and that medical professionals were getting ready for a possible emergency birth. When the baby's condition didn't improve over the course of the following 48 hours, the news hit like a gut punch. Emotions were running high, and everyone on the internet was holding their breath when the most heartbreaking image of all appeared. It wasn't intended for public consumption. Someone from inside the hospital leaked it. The image, which was posted anonymously to a gossip forum, quickly went viral on social media. It featured a woman laying in a hospital bed with cables from monitors hooked to her arms, her face turned away from the camera. The faces were blurred for privacy, but fans were certain it was Erica because of the tattoos, the bracelet style, and even the distinctive curve of her nose, which was barely visible in the side profile. If the woman was Erica, then the man sitting next to her was holding her hand with his head down. Despite the confusion on the internet, there was only one person next to her, Sapphire. He posted with confidence and showed up right away. The conversation changed, and some of the individuals who had been dragging him hours earlier were suddenly perplexed. One admirer remarked, "If that's really him, then maybe he does care, maybe he got there late, but he came nonetheless." Another fan, who was more pessimistic, responded icily to the rumor that Safri hadn't arrived alone, according to a hospital employee, was what truly sent everyone into a frenzy. A little too late showing up when the media catches on doesn't make you a hero. Speaking anonymously, he claimed that Erica's mother had contacted him in a desperate attempt to save his life, telling him that things were becoming worse and that he could miss something if he didn't come right away. He would never be able to forgive himself for the notion that Safri had to be compelled to visit his child's mother, while she was the possibility of losing their child rekindled the outrage tenfold. But behind the scenes, more disturbing information was emerging. According to an insider close to the medical staff, Erica's health was not getting better, and the baby's heartbeat was erratic, which worried the doctors. Regarding prolonged oxygen deprivation, even though they hadn't yet hurried into an emergency C-section, they were keeping an eye on her minute by minute and keeping the surgical team alert. Fans who were already upset were now on edge, and many mothers who had experienced similar scares began posting about them online, creating "I had the same complication. My baby was born at 29 weeks and stayed in NICU for months." It's hell, but miracles happen. One user wrote in a thread full of love, anxiety, and hope. Previously silent celebrities suddenly started to speak out about Erica's life. One former co-star from her reality program days sent a flashback photo with the message, "Sending love and strength to my lady, you've always been a keep fighting fighter." Others donated flowers to the hospital, and when fans saw delivery trucks and bouquets being hurried inside, it was simply further evidence of how serious the situation was. Subsequently, a minor yet significant update surfaced on a well-known gossip website. The post read, "I spoke with her sister. She said Erica opened her eyes for a minute and inquired about the baby. She's alert now, but very weak. She's fans couldn't fathom what it must be like to wake up in a hospital bed, surrounded by equipment, and wondering if your child is still okay." The comment sent shivers down everyone's spines. Praying for a miracle, but as a sliver of optimism started to form, another twist destroyed it. Someone allegedly leaked audio from a medical staff conversation, and even though the voices were distorted, the material was enough to cause widespread concern, according to one nurse. Me be heard saying, "She's bleeding again. They might not be able to wait. If the baby doesn't stabilize in the next hour, they're taking it out." However, the timeliness, tone, and validity of the clip were all under doubt. Fans believed it because of the way it matched up with earlier leaks. The hashtag #Seversby started trending worldwide, and even people who had not previously been fans started following the story. News organizations started attempting to contact Erica's team for statements, but they remained silent. The only thing that everyone knew for sure was that at that moment, A strange live video appeared on Sapphire's profile. It lasted for only 15 seconds before being removed, but it was long enough to leave people stunned in the dimly lit hospital room. What was happening inside was terrifyingly real, and no longer some exaggerated tabloid story. I didn't expect it would become this bad. That brief tape simply stoked the flames as people started asking the hard questions. Someone, probably Safari, was seen pacing back and forth while chatting feverishly on the phone. However, the audio was muffled, and only one syllable could be heard. One blog post titled, "Did Safari's Neglect Endanger Their Baby?" raises the topic of whether Safari disregarded warning indications that Erica had tried to tell him something wasn't right, or if the emotional strain she had experienced during their relationship was now physically affecting her. Gained over 200,000 views in a few hours as emotions ran high. More details began leaking this time from Erica's friend group. One close friend posted and deleted a tweet that read, "This could," the statement felt like a direct strike on Safari, the media, the fans, and anybody who had insulted Erica. She begged for peace and rest, but you kept dragging her name, and you broke her down. According to someone familiar with the situation, things were tense inside the hospital over the years. Doctors were in constant communication with the neonatal team, and an incubator had already been brought into the delivery wing in case one staffer whispered to a reporter, "They're preparing for the worst while holding out hope for the best." Back online, supporters were setting up support groups, setting up prayer rooms on Clubhouse, and broadcasting live streaming of peaceful pauses. A new message was posted to Erica's secret fan group, claiming that the administrator had spoken to someone in the family and said she's going into surgery, pray harder than ever. This came just as things seemed hopelessly precarious for one mother and her unborn child. After hours of anxiety, that message was screenshotted and circulated on all platforms. It appeared that the physicians had made a decision, either to rescue the baby Erica or emotions erupted as people started sending prayers in all caps, sobbing emojis, and candle gifts. Some people penned open letters to Erica, expressing how strong she had been, while others created tribute videos that montaged her previous moments of courage. From her harsh reality to her confrontations to her most vulnerable interviews as a mother, she was more than just a celebrity in this moment. She was a mother defending her child in front of the world. And as the operating room doors closed behind her, everyone's first thought was, will they both survive? As the anesthesiologist adjusted her breathing and the obstetrician nodded sharply, "We can't wait any longer." Erica lay unconscious in the hospital's antiseptic and anxious operating room, surrounded by a horde of specialists and monitors beeping in irregular patterns. The room fell into a crushing quiet, interrupted only by the frantic sounds of prepping nurses, as one doctor coldly stated, "We need to get the baby out now." Safari sat on a bench with his head in his hands for the first time, looking completely broken. People who passed by hardly recognized the man who had once been known for his flamboyant lifestyle and constant smile. The incubator was warming and waiting near the far wall outside the room. Wasn't recording or publishing it at the time, and according to someone close to him, the only reason he was here was fear. He hadn't said a word for more than 20 minutes, and all he could say was, "Please don't like this. Not her, not the baby." Erica's mother, meantime, was sitting quietly in the waiting area, holding a rosary and whispering prayers to herself. Her eyes were red and swollen, and each time a doctor came by without, she would stop her heartbeat when a nurse came over and said, "We'll let you know as soon as there's an update." However, nothing would be sufficient until she saw her daughter. Fans had gathered outside the hospital, breathing, and her grandchild sobbing. They weren't shouting or creating a scene. They were just standing there, some holding signs, some holding candles, and some even singing gentle lullabies. What had begun as gossip had evolved into something more profound. Concern for a lady they only knew from their screens brought people from distant states and towns together, and they felt a strong connection to her. Time appeared to stop in the operating room as the surgeons made the incision, and the energy in the room changed to laser-like focus on the baby. Was not properly positioned, and issues made the birth uncomfortable. One doctor exclaimed, "We need to work fast," and a second later, a fragile, tiny body was hauled out. Panic came in, and the nurse whispered that a specialist was hurrying ahead, clamping and cutting. The nurse's voice stated, "We've got something." The baby's limbs were limp and pale, and seconds seemed to drag on for hours when a feeble cry that was barely audible, but enough to stop every heart in the room was heard. "We're hemorrhaging," another doctor yelled, pointing to Erica, whose blood pressure was rapidly dropping while one team hurried the newborn into neonatal critical care. The moment of relief, however, was brief. It was mayhem, but controlled madness, and everyone in the room was giving it their all since this wasn't just another patient. The others were totally focused on saving Erica. Bags of blood were ordered, machines beeped louder, and someone phoned for backup. This mother was a fighter whose tale had reached millions of people. When word spread of the baby's cries and Erica's continuous struggle, it quickly made its way to the waiting room. Her mother sank into a chair, sobbing uncontrollably, and Safri suddenly got up and pounded the wall with such force. When security arrived, he wasn't sure if he should step in, but he needed faith, forgiveness, and time. He was afraid he could have wasted it when a nurse's friend shared the baby's survival on a private Facebook page. The update seemed like an emotional roller coaster, and about 40 minutes after the surgery started, a doctor said, "Tiny but breathing, they're saying it's critical but hope." "She's stable," he said quietly. "We were able to stop the bleeding," and he went slowly toward the waiting family after taking off his mask. "It's going to be a long recovery, but she made it," the room burst forth. Safri fell to his knees and broke down completely, tears streaming down his face as Erica's mother screamed, and the nurses around him turned away respectfully. The celebration was immediate as fans shared pictures, messages of strength, and previous videos of Durkic, a fighter, talking about motherhood on social media. One fan said, "You've been giving the family a moment of peace," even though the security guards standing nearby discreetly wiped his eyes. "You have what it takes to endure hell and back and still remain strong." Another person said, "This baby was born out of strength alone." However, the relief was followed by a fresh set of questions because the kid was delivered dangerously early. Doctors calculated that the baby was born between 28 and 30 weeks gestation, and issues could include low birth weight and undeveloped lungs. With infection risks, a lengthy stay in the NICU was unavoidable, and each hour would be crucial. Then there was another twist. A hospital nurse allegedly overheard a heated exchange between Safari and Erica's sister, in which the sister allegedly said, "Don't, now that she nearly died, and you failed to be there for her when she needed you most, you dare to play the hero." According to reports, Safari replied, "I'm here now. I had no idea it was this bad." "You never listen because you weren't listening," the sister allegedly yelled. A whole new level of drama emerged as a result of the friction between the families being revealed. While some followers supported Safari, arguing that people change when they experience loss, others supported Erica's family, thinking his tears came too late, according to a well-known influencer. Uploaded a TikTok with the message, "Men who desert their partners while pregnant don't get to cry in the hospital and hope for forgiveness. Keep your peace, Erica." In the meanwhile, Erica from her hospital bed, when she eventually woke up, Her first question was, "Is my baby okay?" When a nurse gently informed her that the baby was alive and receiving treatment, Erica sobbed quietly since she was too weak to talk. The fact that her baby was no longer inside her and that she hadn't been conscious during the birth crushed her heart. The doctors carefully explained everything to her, telling her the truth that the baby was stable but required constant care. Her hand moved slightly, reaching toward the spot where her stomach once held life. When she came in for monitoring, they told her she was brave and that she had done the right thing. Later that evening, a hospital employee said that Erica had requested privacy, saying she needed time and didn't want visitors yet, not even Safari. She's processing everything, and she's emotionally and physically exhausted, the staffer said. And a nurse put a small picture of the newborn there while she slept. As Erica drifted in and out of sleep, the weight of what had happened and what was ahead weighed heavily on the room. The war wasn't done yet. By her bedside, the baby, covered in wires and tubes, seemed impossible small but alive. And for the moment, that was enough. In the days that followed, the hospital turned become a second home for Erica's family. Although she was gradually becoming stronger, her emotions were still raw, and she had not yet been permitted to touch her daughter. The baby was still too delicate, according to the doctor, with underdeveloped lungs and a dangerously weak immune system. Even touching him needed gloves and sterilizing procedures, but Erica stared at the picture next to her bed every day, learning every little detail. Fans who had previously attacked him started to soften a bit. Some said, maybe he's really trying this time. He visited the NICU every day, standing behind the glass for hours at a time while watching their child fight. At times he mumbled prayers, and at other times he just stood in silence with tears streaming down his face. Too little, too late does not erase the past, some said. Tension was still brewing in the hospital, and Erica's sister said, "You've done enough," and forbade Safari from going near her hospital room. She allegedly yelled at him when he attempted to approach, and she nearly died while carrying your child. Where were you? Safari didn't reply when she was out partying and sharing selfies. Instead, he simply turned and left. According to the source, Erica had been under a lot of mental stress before the emergency, so she was sobbing a lot and hardly sleeping. Her relationship with Safari was worse than anyone had anticipated. They had a final argument a few days before she passed away, and social media was ablaze with rumors. Old live videos and tweets from months ago were resurfaced, and fans dissected every facial expression in Erica's most recent interviews, pointing to one tweet that went viral revealed symptoms of emotional exhaustion. Ladies, never let a man stress you out to the point of hospitalization. Your peace is more valuable than any relationship. Nevertheless, in spite of everything on the sixth day, Erica was completely preoccupied with her infant when a nurse cautiously smiled and asked, "Do you want to see him?" She spoke softly, and Erica froze. She could only nod as her lips dried up and her pulse raced. They rolled her gently into the NICU, where she first smelled a strong mixture of antiseptic and machinery before seeing him little and frail with plastic wires tied to his "he's alive," she said, breathing through a mask on his chest. But tears were streaming down her cheeks as she stretched out her gloved hand and gently touched the clear box. "Hello, baby," she muttered. "Mommy's here." And the nurse next to her smiled warmly. "Obtains that from you." Everything shifted at that moment. It was no longer just about surviving, but about connecting, loving, and healing, though it wouldn't be simple. Reporters tried bribing staff for updates. Drones flew over the hospital roof in hopes of catching a glimpse. And one journalist even posed as a nurse to enter the building covertly before being swiftly escorted out. The hospital tightened security measures and prohibited staff from speaking to the media. to a private level, but the leaks persisted. One media claimed that Erica and Safari were going to get back together. The piece cited a supposed close friend who claimed that they had been through hell together, which had made them closer, but Erica's staff swiftly removed it. That is completely untrue, according to a statement from her management. Her child is her top priority right now, and she isn't considering romances. Despite this, supporters are still split. Some want accountability, while others believe in second chances. In just 2 days, the YouTube video, Why Erica Should Never Take Safari Back, received over 1 million views. Debates broke out in the comment area, with one person writing, "He left her at her weakest. She is worthy of better." Another added, "Perhaps this was his wake-up call." People change when they experience genuine fear. Erica took a silent decision within the hospital and asked to be alone with Safari only once, without family or doctors. When he entered the room, she appeared pale but resolute, and her voice was quiet but clear. "Why now?" Safari simply replied, "I messed up. I've been a coward, and I didn't know how to be there for you," without attempting to defend himself or make any explanations. "And I took off running. I nearly died, our son nearly died, and I know that Safari added, and is killing me." For a few period, there was a heavy stillness between them as Eric's eyes filled with tears. Furious, Erica said, "This is about him, not about us. If you want to be a part of his life, you'll have to prove it to yourself, to him, and not to me." They didn't hold hands or embrace, and there was no romantic music or enchanted reunion. But something changed. A boundary was established that was solid and respectful, and that was sufficient for the time being as the days passed. Safari nodded slowly. When Erica's strength returned, she started physical therapy with the goal of walking unassisted once more. Every day she visited her baby, singing lullabies in a whisper and reading books through the incubator wall. The physicians were astounded by the social media also started to change its tone, with hashtags like #ChiricoStrong trending alongside hashtag #MiracleBabyCelebs, sending flowers and fans, raising money for NICU organizations. One person said that the baby's tenacity and fighting nature were similar to those of his mother. One post said, "I judged her before, now I just want her and that baby to thrive." Even past critics acknowledged that they were inspired by her naming. However, then came another surprise, when a screenshot of a leaked medical report appeared online, purportedly demonstrating that Erica's pregnancy issues started weeks earlier than the public was aware. It stated that she had been hospitalized for a brief period of time, 2 months before to the emergency, but she kept a statement threatening legal action. He stated, "Someone is going to be held accountable," in a blatant breach of medical privacy. After a behind-the-scenes investigation, 2 hospital staff members were suspended, and Erica felt more abused than ever, asked to be released early, and doctors agreed on the condition that she adhere to rigorous at-home care and return every day for her baby's observation. When she eventually left the hospital, cameras showed her being wheeled to a private vehicle while wearing sunglasses and a hoodie. Didn't wave or say anything, but she kept the picture of her child near her chest. It wasn't clear what she would do next, but she was obviously different from the woman who had gone into the hospital weeks earlier. She had experienced death, grief, betrayal, and fear, and somehow she had survived it all. However, this story wasn't as the dust settles and Erica embarks on her protracted recuperation. One question remains in the thoughts of fans worldwide. While her body was recovering, her spirit was still catching up, and her baby's battle, the most crucial one, was only getting started. What comes next? Will her child survive these crucial first few weeks and get stronger every day? Will Shuri take over and become the father he always said he wanted to be? Most importantly, will Erica ever find peace after all the suffering she's been through up to this point? This is all we can hope for. The incident has stunned viewers, evoked strong feelings, and revealed the agonizing truth of what may occur behind the glitzy photos and Photoshop smiles. It serves as a warning that even people who appear to be the strongest can shatter, and sometimes being strong means fighting for your life, rather than acting as though nothing is wrong. As Erica clings to hope as her child fights on in the NECU, everything seems to be falling apart. Supporters of World Watch are praying, and fans are leaving heartfelt notes. And everyone is cheering for the same thing, not just physical healing, but emotional for Erica as well as the baby. And we now want to hear from how do you feel about this whole situation? Do you think Safari genuinely regrets what he did in the past? Is it time to go on without looking back, or should Erica give him another chance? Do you believe the media should be held responsible for going too far at such a delicate moment? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below, and we'll be reading each one. And remember to hit the bell button, like this video, and subscribe to the channel so since this isn't the conclusion of the story, you never miss an update. Only the start.